welcome back to the Scale Modelling Cafe. Welcome to this week's update. Channel update, not a lot going on the channel at the moment. That is because I'm on a real roll at the modelling bench actually, and the editing's kind of been put to one side. Now I'm going home in 2 weeks, for 2 weeks. What I want to do is get the current model finished, and then that'll clear the decks so I can get the editing done, and then hopefully I'll have quite a lot of content coming for you, because the current project is probably going to be, I reckon, a 3-parter, but we shall have to wait and see. Right, the Norseman, yeah, that is going to be next up on the channel, but like I say, I just need to get around to actually doing the editing. I know I said last week, but this week as well, you're just going to have to wait. Be patient. I'm sorry. I just don't want to destroy the mojo I've got at the moment by doing the tedious bit of the editing. So please bear with me. It's going to be worth it. Trust me. It's a beautiful little kit, and I'm looking forward to bringing that to you. Right. As for the current kit that's got my mojo well and truly flowing, it's painted. The wash has been done, and I've put the satin varnish on. I'm going to let that cure, and then this week that'll be weathered. It shouldn't take me very long. Just sort of a little bit of paint dripping, not too much, and the some old dot weathering and some other effects, and then that'll be finished pretty much. I'm doing all the dangly bits at the minute, because I like to get that out of the way. So that's my kind of order of things, is do the cockpit, build the model, and then kind of put the base coat on, and sometimes not even that, and then do all the dangly bits, and then finish off with the fun bit. Sometimes just the painting, or sometimes, yeah, I'll paint it like I've done this time and then get the dangly bits done. What I'm not going to do is I'm not going to show you it, because I kind of want to do a bit of a reveal thing. So as soon as it's finished, I'm going to be putting pictures up on the Facebook page, Scale Modelling Cafe. So nip over that, check it out. I'll put up an Instagram reel like I always do when I finish as well. And hopefully you like it. But here are all the dangly bits. There's the prop. And in here, oh, I should mention what it is, shouldn't I? Yeah, it's the Eduard Tempest. So pretty much everything in here is done. Now, oops, sorry. In here, right, this is the Eduard brass undercarriage. First time I've ever used it, is it? Or is that, am I telling fibs? I might have used it on the 72nd Spitfire that I did. Can't quite remember. Either way, though, brilliant, absolutely brilliant. I accidentally bought the one for the Tempest Mark II, though. I'm hoping it's going to fit. If it doesn't, I'm going to be really quite annoyed. The canopy is done. Just want to do a little bit of paint dripping on that. The exhausts are all painted up and weathered. All the undercarriage, so with the brass undercarriage legs, you get all the covers as well. Really quite fine, beautifully detailed. They're all done, painted and weathered. The wheels, these are the Barracuda wheels. They're all painted. Just a little bit of dry brushing to do. Fuel tanks are done, and in here are 8 little rockets. Right, bit of a story about the rockets. I had bought the Eduard Brassin set. In fact, here's the box, and beautifully detailed. Too fiddly, actually. The mounting bits for the rocket to the pylon are actually etched brass, and they all need to be folded up into some funky W shapes and everything. And I spent over half an hour just trying to bend them and make them symmetrical and everything on one rocket, and then I thought, bugger this. Nope. Slight warpage to the rockets as well, which is a bit of a shame. And yeah, I gave up. They beat me. I'm sure someone who's got a steadier hand than me can get a really, really nice result out of them. But do you know what? Life is too short sometimes. And yeah, unfortunately, I'm not going to be using them. But what I am going to use, or I have used, are the decals from this. Tongia decals. I had sprayed the roundels on the model, and I really wasn't pleased. I had a Montex set, so I didn't design my own masks this time. I thought I've got them in the stash, I'm going to use those. And unfortunately, I think whilst using them, I might have distorted them a bit, because I really wasn't pleased with how they turned out. Just not symmetrical, bit of a wobble. And I did what I've done successfully in the past, is paint the white and put the white portion of the mask, spray the red in the middle. But where it went wrong, I think, and then do the camouflage, and where it's gone wrong, I think, is trying to put maybe I distorted the white portion of the roundel a little bit, quite small, and trying to get the blue portion of the mask to lay down, so then I could put the female bit down and then peel away the blue portion of the mask and then paint the blue right at the end. I think I must have distorted it somehow, and unfortunately it just looked a bit rubbish. So really disappointed in how all that turned out. But luckily I had a Barracuda Studios decal set, used those, and do you know what, I wish I'd used them in the first place. They were just beautiful. I emailed Roy straight away and said I've just used these and they've just blown me away. They're just beautiful. They were printed by Cartograph, and I have to say I just used the in fact I'll get what I used. So this is the Mr. Mark Setter. I used that first, and then I used Mark Fix Strong from Tamiya. For advanced users, it says on there. Yeah, put them down with this. Standard cotton bud, you know, get rid of all the bubbles and excess blah. And then a coat of this over the top. And when I came back and checked 20 minutes later, they'd sucked into every panel line, every rivet. And that was it. That's all I did. Just amazing. So really super, super pleased with how all that turned out. I had to cobble a few bits and pieces around just to make the specific aeroplane I'm doing, sort of serials and things like that. But yeah, really, really pleased with how those decals performed. Right, so that is the current project. So as I said, stay tuned for on the Facebook page and Instagram, Scalmodeling Cafe, and I'll do the big reveal when I've done it. The reason I'm doing it like this is not just to be a bit of an idiot, but it's because it's in quite a special scheme, which I really hope you're going to like. Right, that's that. Couldn't find the green book, so I've got my BAE Systems Arabian Industries notebook for the news. Yes, so I have a new channel sponsor, and that is Premium Hobbies. Ed at Premium Hobbies got in contact and asked if he could send me some stuff such as MRP paints. He's a stockist of that, and I said yeah. So he sent me a little parcel. So when I do my unboxing video in a couple of weeks, you'll see some stuff from him. He sent me some MRP, and yeah, delighted to have Ed on board, Premium Hobbies on board as a channel sponsor. And what he's done, nothing to do with me or my channel, is this weekend he's got a 10% sale on. So I'll put up the thing with the code, nip over to Premium Hobbies and get yourself a bit of a discount there. So yeah, really excited to have his sponsorship. He's also sent me some stickers, which I'm going to stick on there. I've got Premium Hobbies. Yeah, I've got a Premium Hobby sticker somewhere. I think it's on the side of one of these red ones though. So that'd be good to get a new one. Right, the Defiant then, the 32nd scale Defiant from Airscale. Large scale planes have got theirs, their review sample. And Ian Ogilvy's got it. I know Ian, fabulous modeler. He and no doubt he's going to be building it very soon. As soon as I get mine on the bench, I'm going to build mine. So I'm going to do a review of it, and I'm actually going to build it. There we are. I'm also going to bung it to a magazine as well. Don't know which one yet. So there'll be, like I say, a full video build series on it. There'll be a sprue tour, not that it sprues because it's 3D printed, and it'll be a magazine article. I'm already procrastinating or prevaricating. Tell me in the comments below which is the correct phrase on what scheme to do it in. I'm leaning towards a Night Fighter actually, all over black Night Fighter. As much as I do like the Day Fighter camouflage, I think that would be really, really quite cool, really quite neat, and have real presence if it's all black. It's going to show up the dust in the cabinet though. But yeah, maybe I'll change my mind. I don't know. So I don't know. I might do the Shark Mouth one. I don't know. I'll have a look. Anyway, so yeah, that's coming, and I will be building that early doors as well. Right, Eduard, the P40N, they've released the first, well, first of all, they've released some renders, which are just beautifully done, actually, showing the different parts in a sort of rusty red colour. Yeah, loving those renders. But they're going to slowly start releasing all the camouflage schemes for the Royal class. I think there's about 10 or 12 different schemes that are coming along. I'm severely tempted by that one. I'm severely tempted by all the Eduard stuff. It's just beautiful. And what I'm going to do though is I'm going to sit my hands. I'm going to wait, and at Telford, he doesn't know it yet, but friend of the channel Adam is going to pick up some Overtrees for me. That'll be the E and the N, the A6M5, probably the MiG-21 as well, if that's out by then. And that's what I tend to do. So this Eduard Tempest I'm doing, that's an Overtrees. What I like to do is get an early boxing of the Overtrees, stick it in the stash, and then I know I've got a really clean, crisp moulding. And what I'll do is I'll just get the extras as and when I'm going to build it. And next year, I've got so much on this year, but next year I want to make a big dent into my Eduard Overtrees collection. Right, so that's the N. Unusually, I know what scheme I'm going to do that in, but I do have the Hasegawa 32nd scale N as well. I might do that instead. I don't know. Right. Lastly, I've saved this to last. I thought about doing a separate video on it, but actually the mojo's flowing and I want to get back to the bench. I'm not. Border models. Border have announced 2 new 1/35th scale kits, a P51D Mustang and a Dauntless. Apologies, I can't remember if it's a SBD 3 or 5, but a Dauntless. It's had some comments. I think this is quite controversial. Again, now I've already done a separate video on Border and 1/35th scale. It really is like Marmite. Some people hate it, some people love it. Personally, I think it's a fantastic idea. Some people think it's too similar to 32nd scale. Actually, when you see them in the flesh compared, that they are, even though it's like 32nd, 35th, it's actually quite a difference. It's like 10% different. And I think it's a really nice scale. It's obviously closer to 32nd than 48th, but it's noticeably smaller than the 32nd. Yes, I know it's a bit niche, so aftermarket is a bit lacking out there. Border models tend to struggle a little bit with their instructions, it's fair to say. some adverse comments about their first one that they did, the 109 G6. Accuracy wise, I don't know, I've not seen it. Apparently the G10 is much better, which is fantastic news. The Stukas are supposed to be really very nice. The Zero A6M50, I've seen one or two builds out there, and it just looks a little bit rough around the edges, I will say, going together. A bit of modelling skill required. The Spitfire Mark 5B is completely balked, and that is because they've copied the Hobby Boss 32nd scale one, which is completely balked. Wing bulges are wrong, the wing plan form is wrong. The biggest error is in the centre fuselage section. So if you look at the cross section of a Spitfire, it's horseshoe shaped. So it comes, you get the sort of curve on the top, and then actually it kind of pinches in like this. I'm exaggerating it, obviously. And what Hobby Boss and Border have done is they've done the curve and then straight down, slab-sided, and it looks really odd. When you see it and notice it, it's way out. It's ridiculous. It makes the internal cockpit frames look silly because they just don't look right at all. I suppose you can kind of get away with it on the external surfaces a bit, I think, but it just makes the whole thing look slab-sided. The canopy, the windscreen is at much too steep an angle, which means it looks really short and tall, which looks really weird. It's too wide as well, so the whole thing looks completely off, and that's a real shame. But you know, there we go. The FW190s, on the other hand, look super. I'm really tempted by the A8. Tempted by the A6, but really tempted by the A8. Right, so going back to the Mustang then, some people said, aren't Edward bringing out a 32nd scale Mustang? They are, but that's the early Razorback, the B/C. This is a D, a bubble top. It comes with a full engine, which is going to obviously bump the price up. I wish they hadn't done that. I'd rather it done without. But I think that's a fantastic choice, and that's going to sell loads, absolutely loads. And you think of the diorama possibilities with it, with all the ground vehicles, the Jeeps and all that kind of stuff. Figures, you can put 35th figures with a 32nd scale aeroplane and vice versa. People are different heights, so it works. Vehicles, that 10%, it does make a big difference. But the diorama possibilities with a Mustang, like airfield dioramas, I think is absolutely fantastic. Maybe even a shot down one in Germany with a Kubelwagen and some blokes hanging around. I think that'd be really quite cool. The Dauntless, I think, is a great choice. If that is a copy of the Trumpeter kit, then good times ahead, because that Trumpeter kit is really very, very nice. It's quite old now, isn't it? But yeah, just a fantastic choice, and interesting that they've dropped announcements for both at the same time. Now, are we going to see them this year? I've got a feeling we're not, purely because the Heinkel 111, I think that's how the Germans pronounce it, Hundertswelf, or whatever it is. To me, having a look at some of the surface detail on that kit, a lot of people are raving about it, saying how awesome it is. I like the idea of the oil canning. I think under a matte varnish it's gonna blend down a bit. But for me, some of the raised riveting that they've done on the wings, I mean, they just look like massive bolts, which is completely wrong. I think that's way over the top, which is a bit of a shame. But at least if it's raised, you can sort of sand it off and then maybe put some printed, like the resin 3D printed decal stuff down. Maybe you could do that, like Archer, that kind of thing. Work quite well in that scale. To get around that, that's what I would probably do. I'm not going to get one. But there we are. So, yeah, exciting times from Border Model. Right, the last thing I'll say is on review samples and things like that is I am going to get an ICM Hampton. Hopefully, so I'm back again for 2 weeks in September, me and the missus, going on a cruise, which is going to be exciting. A bit of a busman's holiday, I suppose, for me. 23 years in the mob. But yeah, it's not coming from ICM, anything like that. It's coming from Scale Aircraft Modelling magazine. I'm going to get one of their review samples, which is really cool. I'm really looking forward to that. Love the Hampden. I think that's a fantastic choice. I'm not going to do too much to it. It will be riveted. I am going to do that. Definitely. Obviously, it's going to have seat harnesses, things like that. But I'm not going to throw a whole load of aftermarket at it. Maybe some 3D printed guns, if there's any out there for that. Or maybe just the gun barrels, or I might just drill them out. I don't know. We shall see. John Tabernor, who's the deputy editor, I believe. Now he likes doing his conversions, and he's getting the other one. And I did put a tongue-in-cheek comment on Facebook that he's probably going to convert it into a Handley Page Victor. Someone said, no, I can't see him doing that. It's a bit of a stretch. Completely missing the point. I was being very sarcastic and ironic because he does like his conversions. But yeah, be interesting. Obviously, the natural one is to do a Hereford conversion. I do remember Alan Hall doing his balsa, carving the balsa wood and then covering it in talc and dope to seal it all in. Converting the old Airfix kit. I do remember that from back in the day, or at least seeing the article. Probably a bit too young for getting the actual magazine when it came out, but I do remember reading the article. Yeah, so you can expect to see that on the channel as well, because I'm really looking forward to that, and hopefully the Special Hobby Baltimore, if we ever see that this year. I really want to do those two twins. There we are. Right, crikey, this is a lot longer than I was expecting. Over 20 minutes. But I suppose it's the kind of separate border model video that I was going to do that I'm not going to do now, and blah, blah, blah. Okay, right. I'm going to get straight back to the bench because the creative juices are flowing, and I want to crack on with the Tempest. And yeah, like I say, look out on my Facebook page and Instagram, Scale Modelling Cafe, both of them, for pictures of the final one. Hopefully they'll be done this week. Week. Right, there we are. I'll leave it there. Thanks very much for watching. Take care, everyone, and I'll see you all soon. Cheers. Bye-bye.